Hey, we're back. I thought I would do a little more with our floor here. Our little lovely piece that we have going. I guess I should probably go right into the prefab if I'm going to edit anything. So we have setting of material, bad, good. We don't actually need this overlap box right there. And this. So I think what we're going to want to do is probably disable our collider, and then on build, I'm just going to enable it. That way we don't have to worry about it. He is going to be a foundation. And more importantly, we need a way to collision check. So here, if we get our overlap box, so this is kind of like a raycast, but in an area, sorta. So what we need is a array of hit objects, type game object. So what about this box size and all of this fun stuff? So what we want to do, because we want this universal, we don't want to be playing around with a whole whack of crazy stuff for all the different pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get position of the owner, every frame world. So we're going to go get an overlap box from this position, and we want from owner, but the box size is, we need this exact box. So I'm just going to get property on that collider. I want the size of a vector 3. And we don't need that one every frame. In fact, let's go like this. Let's move this guy over here. We'll have our get property of our size over there. So we're going to get position every frame. We get the overlap box. Our box size is size. So however big this box is, that's what we want to cast our volume as the same as this. So the array is our hit objects. We can do layers and stuff. I'm not going to at the moment. And the other thing is, because it's really sensitive, I guess would be the term for it. I don't know. So this here, I'm also going to grab get property from the size, but just the y. And then if I float divide, put him underneath, y divided by 2, I now want to vector 3 add So this position's actually going to be no, we don't want to do that. So we want to add from the current position, we want to add that Y, because the anchor point is actually at the bottom of this guy. Like if we look at him, that's what we're going to be raycasting from. Our anchor's at the bottom, so we're actually going down this whole volume, but downwards. So that's why it's I've gotten the property of the Y, and I'm adding that property to that position every frame. And I'm actually going to duplicate that and get it. I'm going to get it twice so I can use it in two different ways. So I am then, we have the size, so I want to now float. Actually, I'm going to use float multiply. I'm going to take that y2 and multiply it by a negative, say point, well, I can do 0.5, which probably almost go a little less, and that'll be kind of like a sensitivity. And then do another vector 3 add to the size. Actually, I guess we can put this over here. So the size, we're going to add that y2, which will make it just a little bit smaller, just slightly. So now we have our little bit of adjustments here. We come over and we're going to box cast, and I'm just going to go next frame, finish, and then just because I feel like clearing it, hit objects, and then that will give us a constant check. So the other thing we want to do is during this check, array let's array resize as well, hit objects to 0. Now array length, hit objects length. Oh, no, we're not going to finish that. Then int compare. The length to, well, 0. If it's 0, it's good. If it's greater, it's bad. Right? So good, bad. And then all it's going to do is we're going to go up here like this and send event. Is good, be under the G's, except for I don't think I made those globals. There we go. And paste. And is bad. Alright, so let's go out of there. So now, as you see, he's green. And if I come over and go into things, he turns... Oh, he's going a little far into that thing. We'll have to adjust that. But yeah, see how if he gets a collision, he turns bad. He's like, no, 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 I am hitting something. I need to be clear. Right? So here we gotta fix this. Right? So here we have like you do want a little bit of give, or else it's so hard to get these things to actually work. Right? Like if it had that much give, that'd be fine. Right? Your terrain's not going to be perfectly flat. And even with that, I mean, even that might be fine for you, right? It's going to be personal preference at this point in time, right? So we know that there is where it is. So if I go back and open the prefab, let's take this guy and go to -0.2. See how much that affects it. So we come in, oh well, all right, well, let's go up here and let's take this guy right out. I forgot to save it. Boop. Yeah, see how it's super sensitive now? Right, so we gotta have a little bit of that. Oops. So seeing at 0.9, like it's just barely, like it's pretty. Right, so let's go 0.1. Let's take it right to the next extreme. Which really, I guess that's about 10%, right? Even though it seems a lot less. I mean, it's not bad, but I don't know. I think that could be times 0.05. So now here we have, it doesn't really even seem to be affecting it that much. I don't know why. Let's just see what's happening. So we could adjust the position. See the y itself is 0.25. So it's adjusting to the size 0.2. Oh my, I don't know. Size, we're only adding that much. See, adding 0.15. Size. We should almost just adjust that position a bit. Yeah, well, you know what? I think going down halfway is probably not that bad anyways. So if you get it too sensitive, it's it can cause a lot of issues. So I think I'll just leave that like that. And I think I will adjust this thing though. Just by doing this. Let's take the Y and we're going to multiply that by 0.9 because we're adding to it. Yeah, so we're going to add a little less. That'll bring it down just a bit. Yeah, see that's actually not that bad. I mean, it's a little, and I could probably add a little more to that, but like that's pretty good. I mean, if it's too far down, I mean, it's still like, I mean, if you're playing a game, you're like, oh, okay, you can see the floor. It's probably pretty good. So if that's our floor, and it can now tell us if it's good or bad, right? And I can go into here now and say, yeah, let's do a bool. Let's say is good. Oh, we have a is good bool. Oh, we've already done that. Well then, I'm already ahead of myself. Look at that. Okay. So, ideally now, you have numerous ways on how we want to place this in the world, right? The most common way is the camera. Now, whether it's top down, third person, or even first person, you typically go from the camera. There's a couple things change, but you typically go from the camera. So if I say, okay, builder, if you're going to build, right, so okay, where's our crafting system? So say we click on crafting, and we've clicked on something, we've gone through our stuff, we get this, our loops, and instead of the fail, it comes down to this, like, okay, you've gotten your recipe materials, well, you have the materials, you have those, you come back, so we're going to craft, right? We now come down, this guy here can turn around and say, alright, you camera need to build said object. So we need to know where or what that object is. So this is our wood floors. That's it right there. So this is on the crafting thing called recipes. Now, do we have I'm sure we probably have this. Okay, we've clicked on a button. Array contains, there we go. So array contains name, recipes, the recipe name, the contained index. Now do we reuse that variable? Recipe in question. Which there's a variable we could use. Oh, there we go. So let's set fs, no, sorry, set data. So this is going to be, what was that one? Recipe in question. And then let's send event game on. Now we don't actually have an event here to catch this yet. So let's make sure we go to here and make an event. I'll just call this build. Alright, now go back. Oh, and this thing here, I just put it there so you can see, but you should come back up here. Right? You clicked on recipe, you failed. You should be able to click on another recipe. Alright, so we need to send an event to our camera system, builder to build. We've set the event, we've gone here. And then I could probably just go finish. Well, no. We'll probably close down our system. So for now, I'm just going to leave it like that. So we're going to go build. And then this guy, when he gets this, he needs to get the event data. So now he needs to create the build this. Now we need to raycast or I guess one of the other things you could also do would be a mouse pick. I believe no. Well, you could, but we'll just use a raycast. So we're going to raycast from the owner, and it's a Z direction, self, distance 100, store hit point, position. So if we didn't use snap, we could now just literally set position and call it good until we tell it to actually build. But what fun is that, right? We wish to snap these things to points. All right, so first let's just take a look at this. I'm going to delete that one, we don't need them there. And where's our camera? Let's make sure he's aligned up properly. Take our player and let's pick some of this stuff up. And let's go create wood floor. says it's doing it, but that is not the right thing. That's because those are two different things with the same names. Okay, well that's not exactly what we want then, is it? No siree. That's the recipes. And we want, oh yeah, that's right, we did that in the recipes. Wood floor. I knew I put that variable in for a reason. Is that. Now, okay, just a small adjustment then. So, we're just going to do a small alteration to there. So the recipe in question is this guy, but this guy has our actual object. So all we're going to do is get FSM game object. Stick him above all these, and he is going to be, well, I'll use this guy for the references. Recipe result. And this now can be recipe in question, and this can now be create me. Okay, so should have done that before. Align with view and player. We'll pick up some of your stuff and go create. Now we have this, right? So as you see, if I move, right, he's now, right, can't build over there, the player's standing there. Now we have this floor that we can build, and we'd hit an input and we would build it. So we're just about there, but we need the snapping. So the build system, okay, so first let's see our time. We might have time for this, might not. Get rid of that. Go into him. So he is checking for those. The other thing, I don't know if I should put it on this one. So if we want, say, a distance to a player, then, okay, so this one sends event based on this. Okay, so that's your collision checking. So what if we wanted a distance to player? Okay. And then we also want a snap. So no, we don't want to put a snap here. We can do the distance to player, but we don't want to put a snap here. We'll put the snap on the camera. So distance of player, so if this has a bool, a bool, distance is good, and all we're going to do is have a player and a get distance from owner to player and store the distance, float compare, and put this down here. distance, say, I don't know, we'll say 5. And if we are less, okay, we'll start good. How about if we are greater, we're going to go bad. Copy and paste. Go over here. And this guy can be, if we are less, we are good. And now, set bool distance is good to false, copy, and paste before is good. So now, let's say, let's just add it right into here. So if we're bad, then it's not going to matter. But if it's good, let's just FSM bool and bool test. Good, bad. Good, bad. If it's good and if it's bad. Now, when we, okay, save that. When we go to create it, he needs to set FSM game object on, well, it'll be on this thing, we'll use it for reference, distance to player. Oh, did we not give it a player? Oh no, he's got a player. Let's put him into the input then, if that's the way he wants to be. Odd. I hear my little one getting up, so I am going to actually cut this one short, I think. And we'll finish off with this right soon. But we're just over half an hour. So we'll catch you guys in the next video.